Hey there, welcome back to Tennille Talks. So I want to tell you two things before I start this reading. I am using, there's a board game, I guess you can play it as a group. I've never played the game, but I bought it maybe a month or more ago, and it's Illuminati. It's an Illuminati game. And so I took the cards out of that game, and I have just used them as like an oracle card deck for my tarot readings. So I've never used these cards before to do a reading for us. And so this is my first time reading it, okay? This reading is giving me the energy of like as quiet as it's kept. Or like whatever I'm about to tell you, you better not tell nobody I told you this. Like that's the energy I get from this reading, okay? So the way I see, okay. So this reading is centering around a Queen of Swords. Now, this is how I saw it in my mind when I'm trying to describe or understand who this Queen of Swords is. Let's say that every one of the queens in the tarot deck has a pajama night or a girl's night in. The Queen of Cups is going to bring the wine. The Queen of Pentacles is the one who brings the gift bags, the trinkets, or the take-home souvenirs. The Queen of Wands is the one who brings like the portable stripper pole or a sexy trivia game. Now, the Queen of Swords is the one who shows up to the party with knives and mace. And the Queen of Swords shows up with like a level of protection because they really don't fuck around in their feelings too much. They've been through some things. They've seen some things. And so this is the queen who, although is at a party, every now and then they're going to be looking over their shoulder, glancing at the door. In the event you have other people at the party, like the Queen of Swords is reading everybody at all times. If I had to name this reading, I would say they picked the wrong queen. They picked the wrong queen. And so the Queen of Swords is the target of this reading. And everything that I'm going to describe is revolving around the Queen of Swords that would literally show up to a fun event with knives in her bra, in her boots, razors in her hair, mace in her purse, in her pocket. Like that's the queen that they chose to fuck around with based on this reading. Now, you don't have to be a queen or a woman, but I just think that in the energy of the Queen of Swords, this is somebody who is intellectual. They're witty, they're calculated, they're very discerning, and they're a no nonsense type of person. They'll read you and they'll tell you exactly what they see. So I'm going to tell you the 4 Illuminati cards that come out. So the first card is Texas. The next card is Underground Media. Then we have a slush fund. And then finally we have local police departments. And so let's just talk about the slush fund. There is a sum of money that is used for illegal purposes, illegal activities, bribes, political payoffs. There's this sum of money that's often kept off the books, not properly accounted for. Somehow this slush fund ties together 3 parties. It ties together the state of Texas. It ties together a local police department and then a family. And I was thinking to myself, well, like, how can this family have access to this slush fund? And so because I'm using the Illuminati card deck, this is telling me that some families have access to pots of money, and the pots of money that they have access to, a lot of times it is going to be for illegal activities that they either have a hand in, or maybe they need to pay into this pot as a result of something they've done or whatever. Now, all of this is about the Queen of Swords. And so I'm talking about the family of a Queen of Swords. You know, I also thought, like, what could give a family access to pots of money like this? And I really think it is not because there is anything unique about the family. I think that one of the family members is unique. Let's say that you are the starseed. You are the black sheep. You know, let's say that that was your role, the scapegoat in the family. Because of the potential and the power of what you possess, because of what you represent in terms of your light, your intelligence, like, you know, everything that makes you chosen essentially makes your family chosen also. But they are chosen to be your first opposition. They are chosen to be your first opponent, right? And so in order for your family to be able to manage you, they have access to pots of money. Now, let's start with Texas. So Texas can be specific to a thief, meaning there is a thief that plays a part in this scheme against the Queen of Swords. This person could have been from Texas. If they are not from Texas, this person is conservative and violent. This is what I'm reading on the Texas card. Now, I wanted to kind of like dig into the meaning of the word Texas, and it almost stands for friend or ally. So somebody comes into your life who is really a thief. This is a part of the plan now. You're the Queen of Swords. They come into your life. They're a thief. They are conservative, violent. They could be from Texas. If not, they appear to be a friend or an ally. This is somebody who is sent by a family. This is somebody who is paid out of a slush fund. Right? And then this is somebody who may live near you because I have local police department. So I'll explain to you how the police department fits in. Now, when this thief comes to you, they are working with some type of strategy. Their goal is to essentially read your mind so that they know how to plan and predict what you are doing next. Now, you are the Queen of Swords who shows up with mace, knives, and razors. This thief was told that you are a sweetheart. They said that you are pure, you were kind of unconditionally loving, kind of naive, nice. You were described as being mentally and emotionally unstable. This thief was coming in order to steal time, in order to steal energy. And so this is where I got the idea of like literally somebody has come into your life and they are supposed to wrangle you. They are supposed to literally like lasso you, tie you up and pin you down. This thief was supposed to trap you. You were supposed to be in an energetic state of feeling stuck, right? Like although you were in a situation that you absolutely could have gotten out of, mentally and emotionally, they were supposed to do something to you to trap your emotions, to make you feel stuck. You have options, but you weren't even supposed to consider those options. So this person was supposed to trap you in the tower. Think of like the Disney Rapunzel or something like that. Somebody comes to trap you in a tower, almost so that you forget about the steps that you were taking. But remember, you are the Queen of Swords. You are not who they said you were. Now we have the energy of a karmic bond. And so this thief could have been a part of somebody that you were connected to. So I'm talking about you shared a karmic bond. A lot of the people that come to you, they can't just be random schmandoms. They have to be people that share some type of chemistry. And so maybe maybe they figure this out by aligning birth charts or matching up specific traits or characteristics. But I really think that a lot of the people that come against you are going to have something very similar to you energetically in order to like bypass your first level of defense. Like they are supposed to feel somehow familiar. Okay. And so this person is supposed to put a chain on you. When they put this chain on you, you are supposed to feel emotionally fragmented and scattered. You are supposed to have an unstable relationship with yourself, right? So this person is supposed to trigger you. Now, however they do this is some type of adventure that they have gone on. They were paid out of a slush fund. Now, you are not a sweetheart. What made this Queen of Swords a target? So the second card that comes out from the Illuminati deck after Texas is underground media. And so underground media, it operates outside of mainstream or government controlled media, right? Typically, this type of media is going to resist oppression. It's going to challenge dominant ideologies. And it's also going to give us space for voices and perspectives that are not heard in mainstream media. And so this Queen of Swords was a target because they have some type of platform. And so anybody that has a platform who speaks truth, and if any one of the queens is going to be the truth teller, it's going to be the Queen of Swords, right? And so what made you a target is that you are liberal but you also have some type of media that you are attached to displaying or like distributing to the public. You know, we don't need news broadcasting systems, and we don't need recording studios and anchors. Anybody with a phone is essentially like a walking media outlet. But if you're talking about a Queen of Swords, what they're outletting is the truth. And so this could be a problem. It could be a problem for your family. And I almost see like in the event that a family is not able to wrangle or stop whatever chosen is in their possession, like whatever chosen is in their control, like if they can't stop that chosen, I almost feel like this family loses access to the slush fund that they once had access to in order to like afford them some type of support in their illegal activities, right? So anyway, somebody comes in order to kind of get you broken mentally and emotionally. They were supposed to scatter you. You were supposed to be fragmented, so much so that you couldn't see your way out. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like you were supposed to be, imagine that you were one piece of glass. After this thief comes in, who's supposed to be a friend or ally, conservative and violent, after they come in, they're almost supposed to drop you. That's like dropping your auric field on the ground, but it's made of glass. And so it shatters. And so now you don't know how to get yourself back together. You don't know how to collect your thoughts or collect your feelings. When this person comes in, literally the Queen of Swords is sitting in a meditative state. They are calm. They are tranquil. They've got inner peace. Like the Queen of Swords doesn't budge because she's been here before. Like she literally shows up to fun events, right? Like children's events with weapons, not because she's violent, but because she's seen violent. She has experienced violence. And so there's like, this is the type of person who settles, but they don't settle. Like they're always waiting for something to pop off, for something to go left, not because they're paranoid or anxious, but because they know people. They know people and they understand how so this is like you come into somebody, but they've given you the wrong identity of who this person is. And the person that you really show up to is a whole warrior who has been waiting for this moment. Now, this person was trying to get a gift or trying to take something. Now, the thing about spell work, I feel like this family, and I do have libation. So this family is trying to do some type of libation on this Queen of Swords, and they want them to exist in a karmic state where they are fragmented, they are out of control, they do not have a stable relationship with self. That is when the spell work works. But if you are calm, if you are discerning, if you have boundaries, if you're clear-minded, if you only use truth to see and to perceive, then it's just like you have seen the entire play as it's happening. And if you can see something as it's happening, that means that you are ahead. Okay. And so this thief is trying to get a gift, but they're a part of a collaboration. Now, at some point, I see game over. This Queen of Swords calls it a game over. And so you know how sometimes in video games, like the players will have 5 hearts and maybe they'll crash into a wall and they got 4 hearts and they got 3, right? And when you run out of hearts, that means unless you find like some type of energy or battery pack, like you got to respawn. And so this thief was literally down to half a heart, meaning somebody was doing this again and again. Whatever this libation, whatever this ritual was, somebody tried it again and again and again. But the Queen of Swords did not shift. They did not change. And so this person was false. The Queen of Swords had already read that this thief was somehow a false person. And it seems like this Queen of Swords understand what the goal was. So the goal was to collect information in order to take back to a family. And so they were supposed to find out, well, what is the purpose of this Queen of Swords? What are they expecting? What is their destination? Like, where are they supposed to go? And so you're supposed to like have pillow talk. You're supposed to just chat like normal people do. But the information that you drop, this false person has been paid to take it back to your family. Now, I have a card here that says prickly situation. And it says you need both tact and diplomacy to reach your goals. The struggle is worth the prize. Work around around the issue and use a gentle touch. And so this false person was trying, if you were a rose, they were trying to navigate around your thorns, because you're not easy, and if you use truth is sharp. You're always carrying a sword. And so this person tried to really find a gentle way. They tried to go around. It didn't work. It did not work. And so the trap was unsuccessful, right? Because they literally had a trap that was set for somebody that carried an entirely different energy. They did not have a trap for somebody that bought weapons, for somebody who could see through things. They just had the wrong trap. Now, this family is coming out in the energy. Now, this is where I have a card that says guidance, divine partner, and family. And so I don't know if this family had told this thief that you were divine partners. Maybe this family specifically chose a person that would have been considered a divine partner based on the missions of your soul. Maybe at some point this would have been a person where you really could have come into alignment in order to complete something on a soul level. Right? The Texas conservative thief who was violent, and I say Texas, which also could mean friend or ally, that person essentially abandons the situation. When they got down to having half a heart, when this ritual was not working, I have a card that says, fuck what they say, verbal abuse and lies. Now, one of the things that this person could have been scheduled to do is to verbally abuse you. It's really to just break up your mind, to emotionally scar or wound you in any way possible so that when the family does this libation, it sticks. But this was all a part of the collaboration. Now I have a card here with change, and see, this is the real problem. This Queen of Swords, who's also coming out as a main female with a gift, who's attached to this underground media, in the event, and this is what I feel like. This family member is responsible. Your family members are your handlers. And when you get too far outside of the territory where they can control you, they tap into slush funds, and now they can pay for people to make their way to you. If you've cut them off, if you don't talk to them, if you don't share your business, well, they have to pay people to enter into your life. But if it is unsuccessful, the family no longer has access to the slush fund. And so when the Queen of Swords starts leveling up in her arena that is operating outside of, mainstream controlled, whatever, this is oh my God, we got to change something. And so these are when those collaborations come. A lot of times people are going to be sent because the people that were already in your circle, you're not really vibing, you're not talking, you're not telling, you're not exposing, you're not sharing. And so there is a specific pot of money. There is a specific pot of money that families who are tied to societies or covens or these groups have access to. And the only reason why a family would have access to it is because they are related to you as the chosen, the star seed, the light one, right? And so they can use that pot of money in order to make sure that their agenda sticks. Their agenda is to cast rituals, to do libations on you. When the libations are not working, it is because energetically you have changed, you have shifted, you have ascended, or they just don't have enough information about you. Okay, so whatever state you live in almost also has some type of secret. I feel like there is a secret group that has access or that shows up in every state who's responsible for deploying people to come out and integrate themselves into the life of a chosen. Okay. And this is really on behalf of the family. And as long as things are successful, then everybody else gets paid. Well, this reading says this was not successful. And so now we got the energy of the local police departments. So wherever the chosen lives, I almost got in this reading that and I have a card here that talks about captivity. And so I'm well, was the goal to kind of do something to this earth angel, this chosen, do something to them so that they would almost lose their mind. They would lose control of their emotions, and they would become almost like a person who we would diagnose as being mentally unstable. Maybe we would just naturally be oh, that bitch is crazy. You know what I mean? Somebody is essentially coming to drive you crazy. And when I see local police department, it says that these police departments are in bliss. They are happy to make this situation work. And so wherever the chosen one lives, your local police department knows you're there. Your family knows where you are. And then whatever the state slush fund is that they can pull finances from, like, they're also tied into this, right? And so the kickback, here's another thing. Let's say that whoever entered your life, they didn't know who you were, but when they entered your life, if they had been successful, they would have gotten a piece of the slush fund, but also the local police department would have gotten a payout. And they get a payout because they would be, and when I say they would be happy to make it work, meaning they have the tools if they need to do an arrest, if somebody files a false police report, if somebody opens a false case, they would kind of get a little piece of money in order to make this thing go against the earth angel or the chosen or the light one. So y'all, I had never really read a reading in this way. And I really know that even if I change one deck, the reading can be, it can take a whole different turn. And so when I say as quiet as it's kept, it's because obviously I'm using an Illuminati deck. But when I put all the pieces together, I feel like the state gets paid, the family gets paid, the local police department gets paid, all from the same pot of money. And the goal is to confine the earth angel or the chosen. And so if somebody wants to shut you up, they have to break you down energetically so that they can spiritually attack you. Once they spiritually attack you, however the attack is supposed to unfold, it kind of can turn you into whatever they need you to be in order to confine you, in order to justify why you are unfit to be free, right? So this is about your captivity. Sometimes if they want to shut you up, they'll just do something false in order to put you behind bars. That is what this reading is saying. And local police departments are like, whatever you need, we'll make it work. We'll help you succeed. We have the effort, we have the tools, and when they are Johnny on the spot, ready to help, it's because they will also get a payout too. They'll also get a payout. But here's the thing about this reading. I have a card here. It says passion in lighting a candle. Whoever this underground liberal media person is, this main female, this Queen of Swords, whoever this is, it is almost like when they follow their passion, they light candles on how money moves without being traced. And it's really like if you tell your story, you are up because money is under and around everything. And so a lot of all of this stuff is really based on the movement of money. And so if a chosen one can't necessarily be controlled, then people are paid a certain amount of money in order to kind of go put the reins, to put the leash, in order to put the chains on them. And a lot of people get a kickback when this happens successfully. Now, I do have justice, mercy, and confinement. And so if the Queen of Swords, if the chosen that has the underground media outlet, if this person calls game over because they can't be fucked with, and if the thief abandons, then now who goes to jail? Like, what happens then? And so this reading is showing me what happens then. And I think that the confinement that is going to be justice for the Queen of Swords that this happened to, the confinement is going to happen to the people that were a part of this collaboration, right? Because like the big people don't go down. When the small people don't get it right, the small people have to pay the consequences, right? And so the family, the thief who comes in as an ally or a friend, like these are the people that somehow are going to suffer the consequences because this was unsuccessful. And so that is the justice. And this is how mercy plays out in this reading. So y'all, if you're free and if they ain't get you, then they got to get somebody based on this reading. And so if you know that this is how your family moves, they try to trap you in situations. They give people some type of false narrative. But when people come, you're always the one to walk out standing. You know what I'm saying? Like if this is something that you relate to, I feel like this gives us another layer of moving pieces. And it's really like if you follow the money. But these pots of money are off the books. And it's off the books for a reason, because you don't want it to be followed. But if you're a part of something that kind of speaks about these type of activities, then that could have been a reason why they would have wanted to kind of interrupt or silence you in some kind of way. All right, y'all. So this was a different one. I love you, but I really think that they picked the wrong queen. All right, I'll see you on the next one. Bye.